a high-quality, real-time video feed through an ultra-high bandwidth internet connection. If this is not diversity and inclusion at work, I don't know what is. As you ponder what I have shared today, I hope you will remember that diversity and inclusion are more than mere touchy-feely words. They are strategic assets for U.S. companies and communities, especially in today's global environment where ideas travel around the planet in seconds. In our globally dynamic world, diversity and inclusion are simply reminders that by serving others and by bringing all of who we are to our work, we are all served. Thank you.
Wonderful. Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we're listening to Deborah Dagit, Executive Director of Diversity and Work Environment for Merck Company. This forum is part of the 2008 Key Bank Diversity Through Leadership, or Thought Leadership series. We'd now like to ask Paul Harris and Margot Copeland to stand and be recognized. Thank you very much. We'll return to our speaker in just a minute for our traditional City Club questions. We encourage you to formulate questions now and hopefully keep them brief and to the point. We welcome all of you here and those listening to WCPN 90.3 FM, WCLV, WTAM, or one of the many radio stations across the country that broadcast our forums. Radio broadcasts of the City Club are made possible through the generous support of Case Western Reserve University. Our television broadcast partners are WVIZ PBS IdeaStream and Time Warner Cable. Television broadcasts are supported by National City and Cleveland State University, and our live webcasts are supported by the University of Akron. Today's forum is the annual David Ralph Hertz Memorial Forum on Civil Liberties, which recognizes a very generous memorial gift made by Mr. Hertz's widow, Marguerite Rosenberg Hertz. His sons Harlan and Willard, Mr. David Myers, the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation, and other special friends. With us today at the head table is Mr. Harlan Hertz, representing the Hertz family. Joining him are Dieter and Hal Myers, representing the Myers family. Gentlemen, would you please stand so that we can show our appreciation? Thank you. We're pleased to welcome guests at tables hosted by Baker Hostetler, Federal Reserve Bank, and Key Bank. Thank you for joining us today. Now we'd like to return to our speaker for our traditional City Club question and answer period. We welcome questions from everyone, including our guests. Holding the microphones today are City Club Outreach Coordinator Deborah Dagit and Assistant Director of Development Marcella Brown. Now, if you wouldn't mind, first question.
Ms. Dagit, thank you so much for sharing your really wonderful strategies in terms of diversity. We are all painfully aware of the current status of our economy here in this country. And so my question is, what do you believe or imagine might be the response of companies to diversity initiatives in this current economy?
That's a great question, and I fear it will be all over the map, from those that recognize that it's now more important than ever, as Merck has done and as Key Bank and probably other firms have done. And then there will be those that think it's a luxury they can no longer afford, which will be a tremendous mistake given the changes in the demographics both within the United States and globally, and the enormous potential power that we can tap into if we allow everyone to contribute to the solutions that are going to be necessary going forward. So I guess in sponsoring this series, one of the things that I would encourage all of us to do is implore people to remember how important it is to continue to focus on diversity and inclusion, engage our employees, and engage our customers, because we're all in this together.
Ms. Dagit, am intrigued at what I can imagine if you were to bring together two of your task forces, specifically the one that looks at interfaith issues and the one that looks at women's rights. I think that might be a pretty interesting joint task force. And I think particularly that you may be, you have an opportunity to use your company as a microcosm for looking especially at interfaith issues, which are such a source of struggle today in the international scene. So I would ask what you see happening, specifically in that interfaith task force, that you think might have applications or implications even beyond your company.
That's an excellent point, and it's particularly important in the pharmaceutical industry for a company that makes vaccines, including one of our vaccines is Gardasil, which is a product that helps prevent cervical cancer, some forms of cervical cancer. And when you're talking about a product that addresses a sexually transmitted disease, it's really important to engage in a culturally competent and respectful manner in many regards, members of the community of faith. And one of the things that I would point to in that regard that happened at Merck, one of the recipients of one of our diversity awards was someone who sought to understand what we would need to do in order to get this life-saving vaccine to the Muslim community. And we learned that a vaccine had never received something called halal certification. That's normally done for food in the Muslim community. But in working with Muslim colleagues from within and outside of Merck, we were able to determine how we could get halal certification for this vaccine to make it available globally to people of the Muslim faith. So that's an example of what you're saying, of engaging people outside of Merck. Another thing that I would say as the first part of your question is that we very much believe that it's the coalitions that are very important across these groups. Although people may belong to one of these global constituency groups, they actually could be members of several of them. And so we don't try to compartmentalize people, but give them an opportunity to look at their own complexity and show up in all of the different ways that they see themselves. But by focusing on these different areas, it allows us to develop focused programs and initiatives and then combine them back together. The process that we use is really interesting. These groups deliberated individually in a virtual environment for several months, and then we brought them together with the part of the company that would be responsible for pulling together their ideas. So for instance, when they wanted to talk about flexible work arrangements, all 10 of the global constituency groups, with the men, I think, having the loudest voice, said flexible work arrangements shouldn't be at the whim of a manager and shouldn't be in some countries. They need to be a business solution that's available to everyone, regardless of gender or race or ability or faith. It's vitally important in this 24/7 world. So we really were able to find ways that we could come together with common interests and then put nuances into it. So maybe the flexibility a person of faith wants is so that they can appropriately observe their faith during the work day. And so we would also need to accompany that flexibility with a meditation or quiet room. Thank you for your question.
Ms. Dagit, back here, yes.
Oh, sorry.
I realize that your company has very high costs researching and so forth for all the new serums and medicines and so forth, but I just wonder how you reconcile the costs that you have to charge, say, to European countries that are so highly regulated and will not let you charge a lot, to the rather high costs to so many of the Americans who perhaps cannot afford it.
So there are a variety of things that we need to deal with in a free market in terms of the government in different countries setting the pricing for our products.